Hi, I'm Brenda from Bravester, and I'm going to bring in you a three-part series using one gospel story to teach you three truths about Jesus. So the version I'm going to use is out of the book of Mark. I'm going to be beginning in chapter 14, verse 3. Let's see if you recognize the story. Meanwhile, Jesus was in Bethany at the home of Simon, a man who had previously had leprosy. While he was eating, a woman came in with a beautiful alabaster jar of expensive perfume made from essence of nard. She broke open the jar and poured the perfume over his head. Some of those at the table were indignant. "Why waste such expensive perfume?" they asked. "It could have been sold for a year's wages and the money given to the poor." So they scolded her harshly. But Jesus replied, "Leave her alone. Why criticize her for doing such a good thing to me? You will always have the poor among you, and you can help them whenever you want to, but you will not always have me. She has done what she could and has anointed my body for burial ahead of time. I tell you the truth, wherever the good news is preached throughout the world, this woman's deed will be remembered and discussed." So here we have the story about Jesus. In fact, it was Matthew, Mark, and John who both recorded the story in their Gospels and did what verse 9 said, that this story would be remembered and preached as good news throughout the ages. So what made this story so memorable? Was it the vulnerable big act that this woman did? Or is it how Jesus responded to this woman? Because in verse 6 we see that Jesus recognized beauty. I just read to you out of the New Living Translation, but in the NIV version, it actually calls this act a beautiful thing. Here, we're at a party, and this woman comes on into the party and does this brazen, bizarre act and definitely changes the mood of the party. Guests were angry and complaining. Judas shouts out that this money was wasted and could have been given to the poor. And yet Jesus sees what this woman has done and recognizes it as beautiful. I mean, she invaded his personal space, but he recognized this as a way that she was showing gratitude and love for Jesus in a way that no one else had. And he called this beautiful. We have a saying here at Bravester: beauty is uncomfortable, but can comfort others. Do you see that in this story here? Beauty is a sought-after commodity, right? I mean, millions are spent seeking after beauty, right? Hours of effort are put into seeking after beauty, right? Do you know what is not beautiful? Botox, plastic faces, Photoshopped landscapes, bitter people, angry people, numb people, Botox people, people who refuse to show vulnerability. Right now you can picture some of those people in your minds, right? So you know what I mean, right? Then there are those people who are so uncomfortably beautiful, and yet they bring comfort to you. Like this story. Pain has beauty in it. Beauty is real. Beauty is uncomfortable. Vulnerability is uncomfortable. This woman was vulnerable to Jesus, vulnerable to the crowd. This woman obviously knew pain. We don't know her backstory, but obviously she knew pain. Beauty seeps out when you let decisions of bravery define you, when you allow the beauty of pain to shape you. I named this truth of Jesus as Jesus recognizes beauty. Here in this moment of such vulnerability, Jesus names it, and we're just awestruck by it. 3 of the gospel writers recorded it, and Jesus said her story would be preached throughout the world. This painful turned beautiful story. What if we were not afraid of our pain? What story would we be telling? What beautiful story would we be telling? And would this story be told to future generations? May this be my brave challenge to you. Thanks. Amen.